Hi Flosstube, it's Julie. I'm the Gulf Coast Stitcher and this is my first video. First, I want to apologize about the quality of this video. I live in a house that's over 100 years old. It's wonderful, but the whole thing is knotty pine. The ceiling, the walls, the floors, everything is knotty pine. I think you can probably see on this video a little bit. So the lighting is not great inside. It just bounces off of everything. Outside, much better. So I thought my first video I'll do out back on the porch and you guys can see the beautiful area that I live in. And it's blowing at like 20 miles an hour out there. So we had to come back inside. Want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am recently retired, and by that I mean I now go to school full time. I was working crazy hours and not spending any time with my family. My daughter is 17. Hopefully she'll make a few cameo appearances on Flosstube with me. And we're busy and we live on the water, and I wasn't getting to do a lot of the things I want to because of having to work so much. So I decided to go back to school full time and pursue my degree in business. Have no idea what I'm going to do with that yet. But that's a little bit about me. In addition to stitching, I love audiobooks. It's the only way I can get any reading in. I used to read a lot in the evenings, but now that time is occupied with stitching. My free time in the day is occupied with searching Flosstube and researching new projects I want to do and techniques, and then in the evening is when I do my stitching. So there's not a whole lot of time to read. So I listen to audiobooks. I listen to them everywhere. Typically put my phone in my back pocket when I'm washing dishes, folding clothes, doing whatever I'm doing in the house. I have that going on. Now, for those of you who don't think that audiobooks are for you, that was me. I will tell you that there are a ton of them that are narrated by celebrities who you know and voices that you're accustomed to. That really helps. Normally, like I said, I have it in my back pocket and just listen to it while I'm doing other things. Also, listen in the car exclusively, no music, hardly ever. I love music, but I get into these books and I can't get away from it. But if you're unsure, listen to Colin Firth read The End of the Affair. Don't put that on your phone in your back pocket. Don't put that on in the car. Put that in some earbuds and let him read directly to you. It is fantastic. I'm telling you, ladies and men out there, Colin Firth reading The End of the Affair is where it's at. Other than that, I'm just like the rest of you guys. I watch Flosstube all the time. I've been a voyeur forever. I haven't really decided to dive in. I was encouraged by a few other Flosstubers. Melanie from Melly Ellie Stitches has told me, you should do this. I first started, a shout out to Priscilla and Chelsea. I was told by a friend of mine named Jody in Australia that I should really watch Flosstube, that I would probably enjoy it. And I tuned in on a Saturday morning and ran into Priscilla and Chelsea. Immediately loved their banter. Then realized that they're mother and daughter, which I also enjoyed. And I will tell you something, Priscilla Blaine is always at the other end of the internet when I need her for anything. If I have a question, a comment, I have a problem with a recipe, I don't understand what I'm doing with stitching, she always replies, and for that I'm super grateful. Helen D, love her. She's got a great channel. Also is fun to correspond with. As I already spoke about Melanie. Danielle with Stitcherista. Danielle is a pioneer in my mind. Like, her videos are awesome. Her editing is amazing. I'm filming this on a MacBook, so I have no skills on any of the things that she has shared, but I love watching her. She's also great and always at the other end if I have a question too. So I appreciate you ladies so much. There's so many more shout outs, but hopefully this isn't my last video and I'll get to some more of those. Something else to know about me is I have never fully finished anything. I stitch it, get it done, put it in the pile, move on to the next thing. I have all of the things to fully finish everything. I have the frames, the chalkboards, the trim, the magnets, the sheet metal, all of the things. Have not done any of it. So hopefully having this channel will also kind of help me be accountable to get some finishes done. Like I said, I have plenty stitched. I just need to get them finished all the way. So I figured I would show you a few things that I've finished recently. I have a lot more finishes in the pile, but I'll pepper those throughout other videos. So here's a few. This was a little Prairie Schooler freebie. Oops. A freebie poinsettia. I sent this freebie printed out chart to Melly. It was a delight. It was one of my first times stitching on Carolina linen, which was just something I bought at Michael's. It's really thin, but I enjoyed it. It went really fast. It was a fun evening stitch. I liked doing that. Another small. 'Tis the season of smalls for me for some reason. Another small I have is this little Lizzie Kate. This one I stitched on Belfast, which was my first time stitching on Belfast. I changed the colors up based on some stuff that I had, but it was really super cute. And I totally had planned on having this fully finished, and hung up for Valentine's Day, but that day has come and gone, so maybe next year. And this little guy, I also sent this chart to Melanie. It was just so cute. It was just a quick little teeny small. I have visions of having like a mini tree that I decorate for Halloween and fall and Christmas, but again, we'll see if we get there. The fun is in the journey, right? So there's that little guy. And this happened really fast. Like, I was really surprised with myself on how fast I got through this, and apologize for nothing is ironed. Like I said, once I finish stitching it, I throw it in the pile and I'm on to the next thing. But this is my hometown holidays. I have stitched, let's see, this is 4 in a row. And that's probably about as far as I would go with this. Again, I have visions of how I want to finish this, but I haven't got there yet. But I think it's super cute. I'm proud of it. It was a lot of work. Like I said, went pretty fast. And that's just a few things I have finished. I didn't want to bombard you with a bunch of old stuff that's done. I will pepper them in other videos, hopefully. Some things I'm currently working on. If you follow me on Instagram, where I'm Gulf, as in Gulf of Mexico, Gulf, G-U-L-F, Jules, J-U-L-E-S. I've had that handle forever, probably won't change it. So if you follow me, you've seen all of this already. This, again, is a wrinkly mess, but this is 4 corners. It would help if I turned it right side up. Forgive me for that. 4 corners by Little House Needleworks. I always just call it the weather vane. I refer to it as a weather vane, but it is the 4 corners. I have 3 blocks left to go. So what I tend to do with this is I tend to stitch a block and then put it down and go on to something else so I don't get bored with it and go back, but it'll be done pretty fast. And then I have the tiniest of starts. This shouldn't even qualify as a start really. On this just the fabric is beautiful. This is 30 count weeks dye works in pumpkin, and I'm doing the Sue Hillis ornaments, dark shadows. Again, I plan on having little ornaments up. We'll see if it gets done. In the meantime, it's just a small project to stitch on that I enjoy. So there's that. And I would say my current favorite whip, the one that I'm working on every night, is Ida Mae Crow. I love her. I love everything about her. I did screw up on the floss colors, but you know what? I think I'm going to actually like it better. She's just adorable. I love anything Americana, folk art, Southern, any of that stuff. So here she is so far. Her little arm is there. I should finish the top of her. I should probably finish her in the next day. I do have to do a lot of color changes on her dress, and I have her little feet and of course her head to finish, but she'll finish up really quick. So that'll kind of take me right into haul. This is going really fast. I put stitching down for probably 20 years while I was being a mom. So I'm still being a mom, but while I was getting through my daughter's younger years and my heavy working years, I put it down. I started stitching when I was probably 10 to 12 years old with a lady named Mary who was a neighbor who had polio. And I feel like our families kind of put us together. I kind of watched her in the afternoons while her adult son was at work, and she kind of watched me while my parents were at work. Really, we just hung out. We stitched a lot. She was a blessing. She passed several years ago. She passed probably when I was about 15 or 16, which was about the time that I quit spending time with her anyway. So it was hard, but she had disabilities and couldn't do counted cross stitch, but she always did printed cross stitch, the stamped kind. So that's kind of where I started. And then I had some elbow surgeries in the past few years. My most recent one was about a year ago. That put me down, and I really wanted to do the stitching to help with the dexterity in my hands. And I started with one little kit from Walmart, and then from there I started acquiring stuff. I will tell you, I've spent most of the past year acquiring haul. Haul has turned into stash. I hope I get to it all in this lifetime, to be honest with you, but I'll have fun sharing it with you throughout, the next few videos. The haul that I have currently is, of course, I think I just showed her, Ida May. If you get Ida May, you have to get Ira Ray, because the two of them together, are you kidding me? They are so cute. I love them. I wanted to show you how I plan on finishing them. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but I picked up these frames at Michael's. Michael's 50% off, less than $8 a piece. I just have visions. I don't know if it'll happen, but I think that them side by side facing each other in these frames would be adorable. So that's the plan. We'll see, like I said, if I actually get there. But I did pick up 2 of these so that I could have one for Ira and one for Ida. What else do I have here to show you? If there was one stitching tool that I could not live without, one piece of equipment, if you will, it is Pat Carson's Pat's Favorite Gold Eye Needle. If you have not tried that needle, you need to stop everything and order it. They are available at a lot of online retailers now. You can now get them at Stitch and Frog, Down Sunshine Lane. You can get them at Stitchery Express through Facebook from Cindy Sorley. They're fantastic. I have used Bowen. I have used John James. I have used all the ones that all of my stitching idols swear by, and I have never found a needle that I enjoy more. So if you get stitch email from me, if you get gifts from me, odds are it's going to include a Pat's Favorite needle, because I just think everybody should have them. So one of the little things I purchased off of Etsy was this super cute wooden, I think it's actually a toothpick holder, but it's going to house my needles, some of them at least, because I hoard her needles because they're wonderful. I got it in 2 different colors, a dark wood and a light wood for my 24s and my 26s. Those are the 2 that I use all the time. I use 26 pretty much exclusively from her. I can stitch 3 or 4 pieces with one of her needles, and they don't pit, they don't rub, they don't do anything weird. Bowen, while they're smooth initially, that my hands end up doing something to them and it doesn't work out. So I got these to put my needles in. And I know some of the retailers, I think at Stitchery Express, if you buy, I don't know if it's 50, I think it's 50, they throw in one of these. But I just went ahead and purchased them because I have a ton of her needles hoarded up. So those were great. Those were a purchase that I got. I showed you Ida and Ira. Now I'm going to talk just briefly about fabric. Recently I have gone on a fabric purchasing spree. I have enough charts to do forever, but I don't have a lot of fabrics. And like most of us, I started out on 14, thought, well, you know, I don't love this as much. My friend Jody in Australia, who I mentioned, she's a sampler stitcher, and she stitches on higher counts. And she said, you should really try an even weave and just see what you think. And I love it. I use it all the time. I do like some Adas. I did recently acquire some that are amazing. As you guys know, Picture This Plus is awesome. Fibralicious is awesome. But I'll talk about those in a later video. I just wanted to show two pieces of fabric that I recently got. So as I said, Priscilla Blaine is always there for me at the other end of an instant message if I have a question. So I messaged her and I was like, Priscilla, I do not know what to stitch these chalkboard. Her chalkboard charts are so super cute. I was like, I just don't know what to stitch them on. I don't like Black Ida. I had bought Black Jobelin and I had bought Black Lugana, and both of them were just tough on my eyes. I can see pretty good. I mean, I wear glasses, but I can see pretty good, and they were tough. So she told me about a company called Garibaldi's Needleworks, and she said that she had purchased a piece of fabric from them called Midnight. Well, let me tell you, my closest needlework shop is 300 miles away. So for me, I order smaller pieces of fabric online, and I get them in, and if I love it, I love it. If I don't, I'll stash unload it. Cost me a couple of bucks, but it's difficult to buy fabric if you don't have a shop to go to where you can hold it and touch it. So I do take recommendations from other people, and like I said, I tend to buy like a fat eighth or something small and see if I like it, and then go from there. Well, she recommended this Garibaldi's in Midnight. Well, I ordered 28 count Monaco and 28 count Brittany Lugana from them. As most of you know, different fabrics, same dye lot, different fabrics come out totally different colors. So I know not everybody likes crinkly packages, but the things that impress me about a company are service, how they package stuff, if their product matches the description that they tell you, how it's going to be. I was really impressed out of all the fabric that I've purchased with their packaging. Ironed, folded in a nice plastic packaging with all of their information, including what it is, because let's face it, if you throw all your stuff in a hoard like I do, you won't remember what this is, and a lot of times I have to go and make a tag to put on it myself. Well, this is already ready to go. This is the Monaco, and this is again in Midnight. We got a nice little card here with some information about them, and then I got the same package situation with the Brittany, but I just want to open these two and show you guys the difference between these are both 28 count. They're both an even weave. One is a Brittany Lugana and one is a Monaco. So this is the Monaco. This is a beautiful chalkboard. This is what Priscilla recommended or said she had used, and this is what I will be stitching the Chalk on the Farm on. And then this is the Brittany Lugana. So you can see quite a bit lighter. Also 28 count, but just the difference in the two colors. Same dye lot, same color on description, totally different. So something to be mindful of when you're shopping. That's like I said, if I don't love one of these, I know I can put it on stash or I can gift it and I'll be, you know, it'll move on and I'll be able to purchase something else. But I was really happy with their whole process start to finish. Speaking of that, speaking of amazing customer service, I'm going to talk next video, assuming anybody comes back to watch, I'm going to discuss floss, because as a novice, I thought DMC, Anchor, Sullivan's, I've heard of those, that's where it's at. I've got some pretty good tips on floss and some great places to buy it with some great people who are just really still on the forefront in the industry that I'd like to share with you guys. So I hope you'll come back for that. Other than that, I don't have much else to show you today. I hope to have some progress on Ida May, I hope to have some progress on the four corners. I probably will have another start or two because I'm, for some reason, really into doing smalls these days. I'd just like to appreciate all the encouragement. I want to say, Christine with Stitch All the Things, girl, you are awesome. You might be hyper, you might be a little high energy during your videos. I love that. And I will tell you something that I wanted to share with you about your video, and I wanted to tell this to you directly in front of everybody. The video that you did on sewing the pillow when you were working on your machine, that was your wheelhouse. You were so good at the instructional tutorial. I've never touched a sewing machine. I have no idea of what I would do on a sewing machine. I would never watch a sewing tutorial because I don't have a sewing machine even. But when I watched that tutorial, I was engaged. You did a great job on that. Melly, you're doing awesome. Melanie, I guess I should say, Melly Ellie Stitches, you're doing awesome. Everybody who's out there and encouraging each other. You know, this is a very private and personal hobby that we have. It's something that you do with your two hands by yourself. Many times, we don't even finish or put up what we do so no one ever sees it. But this Flosstube community has really helped me feel connected, especially after leaving the workforce where I have a lot of time where I'm by myself. You guys are there every day, making me laugh, cracking me up, encouraging me and making me feel like we're all pretty close, even though many of us are thousands of miles apart. One last thing that I would recommend, if you're like me and you feel like no one around you stitches, there's not a LNS within 200-300 miles, get to know your online shop owners. That helps. And another thing that I did was I joined the EGA, the Embroiderer Guild of America, went online, found them, found out that I had a chapter about, it's about 25 miles for me, which isn't bad. I'm able to go to stitch-ins with those ladies. We're a support group for each other. And I found that none of them knew about Flosstube. Very few of them are on Facebook. And it's still a pretty large community. So if you're out there feeling like you know, a retreat is not something that you can get to very often or is too far away, you should check the EGA and just go online, see if there's a chapter near you. If there is, give it a try. That usually, I mean, the meetings are once or twice a month. And it's a chance to get to be with each other. So that's a great idea. Anyway, I hope that you'll come back to watch more videos. I hope that I can figure out how to post this. I hope to see all of you guys again. Please feel free below to leave questions, comments, but let's not put any hate mail. Okay, there's enough of that in the world. We don't need that from each other. I'll talk to you guys soon. Hope to see you around. Bye.